Hello and welcome. The agenda for today's video is that how you can make cross-container navigation. So the idea is that there are two projects in your SAP BTP Cloud Foundry. They have the same region of database. That means both the projects are part of the same database. So you have made two CAP projects, one that you call as donor project, another one you have called as acceptor project. You can name it anything. So the idea is that what you want to do is that you want to use the data and the table that you have in the entity D1 to be shown in the entity to be shown in the acceptor project. So this entity D1 would be used in your acceptor project where you don't have the entity D1, because you already have two entities and you want to use a third entity, that's the D1 entity, into your acceptor project. So that's the need. What you need to do is that you have to create database artifacts in your donor project. Fine. So you have got HDB roles over here. There's one artifact that you're going to make inside the donor project, and you have to make three more artifacts into your acceptor project. That is grants, and then there is synonym configuration. You're going to make that in a different folder that we will call as CFG, and inside the DB folder, and then inside the SRC under the DB folder, what you're going to make is a synonym. So this synonym I'm talking about. So it's so simple that you have to make a database artifact that's called as HDB roles, and then you will be making three more artifacts over here. Grants and synonym configuration will be made inside a folder called as CFG under the DB, and only synonyms will be made inside the DB in the SRC folder. So this is how we're going to do that. Let's go to our project. So in here, you see our first thing, our database is running. That's very important. Another thing, we are into our projects folder. So, and the terminal that we have is the projects that is already opened, and here we have some get started and welcome page. So our project folder is completely empty right now. We don't have anything in our project. So for that, since I was talking about that, we are going to make two projects. So beforehand, what we're going to do is that we're going to create some instances, two HDI containers. So this is, as you see, my instances are completely empty except for the HANA database that we have. And we need two HDI containers. So from here, we're going to create HDI container because that takes time to get created on the run. So I want to do it beforehand, and simply we'll do binding. Our database services are binding tables and whatever we have to the instance. So here you need to go for the HDI. So once you get the HDI, go for HDI SAP HANA scheme HDI containers and select a plan, and it will be HDI shared. And you so in the instance name, since we have called it as donor project, so this is the one that's actually giving you the permission to use the table. So it's donating. So the name should also be in accordance with the need. So donor project, and then we're going to create it. So it will get created, and we're going to make another one that will be the acceptor project. So select for HDI and go for HDI shared and call that as acceptor. So project. Okay, so now you're going to create this one, acceptor project, and it will get created in the meantime. So we're going to go to our bash. Let's go into your projects directory, and let's say we are going to make our project. So in order to make a project, you have to use a command mkdir, that's called as make directory, and call the name of the project like donor. So this is my donor project. So just press enter. So over here, you can see that we have got the donor project made, but the folder is completely empty. So when you click on it, you won't get anything. So in the same way, you can use mkdir to make the acceptor project. And then you can see that you have got the acceptor project, and press enter. So you see the acceptor project has been made. So we'll go one by one into each of the projects and do the things. So so first we'll complete the donor projects, as I was talking about. Like in the donor projects, you need these artifacts, tables, and hdbroles. So tables is a normal thing that you actually make, the entities and all those things. But hdbroles, there's a new artifact that you have to make in order to have a cross-container navigation. That is one of the requirements. So going back into our donor project, so simply go over here into the file, go to open folder, and go to projects, press P, come into the projects folder, and then you have got the donor project. Just press donor project and press OK. Go to the get a new terminal first. So when you get a new terminal, just do CDS init. Once you do CDS init, you see that inside the donor project, we get the required files that are required to have the CDS capabilities and minimum number of files that are required to make a project. So you've got an app that's completely empty, you've got a DB that's completely empty, and you've got an SRV that's also completely empty. And if you go into your package.json, you have these things, but the interesting part is like you have got these modules like dependencies. You'll be needing SAP CDS and Express and development dependencies, but they're not installed. So in order to do that, you need to do the problems. When you get to the problems, the other way to actually attain the same thing is do npm install. Or you can go to the problem section and you see it says these packages are not installed. So you can right click on it, or just right click over here, or let's see here. So you see those things that require installation. Then you can just right click and go ahead and do the fix all dependency issues. So once you do that, you'll be having these problems gone, and now you can go back to your terminal and then you have to make a table. That's what that is what the requirement is. So here you can just make a new file and call the file as like a donor.cds, and you press enter. The same name inside the SRV folder, you're going to make donor sr.cds. So you have got that thing there too. So in the donor, you need to write the namespace first and use the namespace. and it would be called as donor. Okay, let's go and make our entity. So type the entity projection or entity. So this is how you're going to make it. We'll call that as our entity as employee. Okay, so in the employee entity, we'll be having our key field first, and that would be the ID, and the ID would be, say, an integer of 16, and then put a semicolon. Then there is a name, and the name would be string. So just a string, and a company, which is working. So it will be a string. So this is our first table, and that's done. If you want to make more tables into it, so let's write entity this, and let's say employee, and then you can make company, and you have got the key ID for the company and integers 16, and then you have the name of the company. You have the name, company code, So company code would be again integer 16, and then you have got the address of the company. Address of the company would be string. So we have got two entities over here, of which one of the entities would be this employee entity would be actually used into our second project. That would be separate project. So the same way we have to read the service definition for it. So we'll use the help, and the namespace was don't know. And where are we getting this thing? So getting this thing from db donor over here, right? And service. So go for the source, my service. Over here, we're going to write definition, entity projection. So entity would be, what's the name of the entity? It's the employee, EMP. And so what a name you can choose the same name as over here, employee, or you can use any other name as EMP. But here you're going to use this don't know dot employee. So exactly employee. And the next entity is our that's company, and COM, and we have got, so we have got two entity sets in it now. So everything is done now, and we have to make an ACI and bind these tables to our hdI container. So in order to do that, first we'll see we have to build our projects. So if you try to build the projects, so you have to use the command cds build, and it might give you some error. So, but you see, when you build a project, what you see is that your tables are not being built because it's looking for a database in it. So database module. So to add CDS, add HANA. If you do that, and then you try to build your project, then it will work properly. And you see your artifact with the name donor employee namespace employee table. Well, if you want to have a complete picture of it, so you can see that it's a company is the EMP and things like that. So the project's has now been built. Now it was as simple as that. And now, but you see over here, SAP HANA project, there's nothing over it. You have to make an API. The API container has already been made, but there is no no reference point over here where you can find your services or to your API container. So what you need to do is that, right, CDS add HANA. I'm sorry, we have done it. CDS add MTA. So when you do that, your two things would be made. Another thing that when you added CDS add HANA, this SRC folder, which was missing first inside the DB, because when we made DB, we already had the donor CDS only. So when you did CDS add HANA, two things got added. SRC is along with the HDI configuration extension over here. That helps in the deployment of your artifacts. And so this SRC folder got created, and inside the package.json, you got this entry also made CDS requires DB HANA. So these entries were made when you did CDS HANA. After when we did CDS add MTA. So the moment you did that, have your project inside this SAP HANA projects list. This is the project that you have, and one more thing, you had your MTA YAML file also made. So if you open this MTA YAML file, so the basic things that you'd be seeing inside your MTA YAML file are your SRV, donor project SRV, your SRV module, and your DB deployer, and that's it. And then one resource over here that's always be there, and you make an MTA. So your resources that would be needed for your modules, that is the ADI container. So, and you see the name over here, donor project DB, and the same over here is that donor project DB. The name of the ADI container that we have made in our okay, so there's a bit of a problem, like we have made it as, it's not a problem actually, but the naming conventions, or like, for me actually it works. Instead of writing the instance name as acceptor project, I would have appended it with the HDI. Then it gives me a better picture of like exactly the instance is all about. So nonetheless, since we have made it, we don't want to recreate everything. We'll just go by that instance name. Okay, let's bind our project. When you bind it, ask you for your Cloud Foundry credentials. So we'll go with SSO passcode, and over here in browser, instead of going with the credentials, this credential will go with so passcode. It's really handy. You just need to copy this over here. Just copy it, pressing this icon and back to enter your SSO. Just Control V and you just sign in. Simple, instead of making entries in that way, the other way, this thing comes in handy. So the first one generally is your organization name and to apply it. So the moment you apply it to it, the screen pops up, and then you need to use this HDI container donor project over here, in which you have the details regarding your data or HDI container inside the DB folder. So an environment variable will get created inside the DB folder. The extension .env, you can see that .env is there. And once it's created, we're going to make our new database artifact. That's the role. So we are going to make two roles over here. So one would be the object privilege, and another one would be the schema privileges. So we do that. So how are we going to do that? We just, once it finishes, we can show problems. SAP HANA not installed. So continue, do not ask again. The donor project has been found. So donor project DB, you see it is green icon came over here. That shows that it's been found, and a .env file also got created inside the DB folder. So until this point, we are okay, and let's try to fix all its dependency issues. So we can do that, and I suppose the problem will be gone then. If not, then we can do npm install or something like that. So you see the problem's gone, and then going to the terminal back again. So for making another terminal view, you need to go to the command palette and create SAP HANA database artifacts. Really, they're in the top of the list, so have to search for it. Just press, and to do that, what you actually get is the path, and that's very important. You see, this is inside the SRC, donor project DB SRC. So this is donor project DB or SRC as well. Inside this, you have got the API configuration, and inside this SRC, you'll be giving the roles. So what kind of artifact you want to use? So use for roles. You see, there are two things: hdbrole configuration, hdbrole. So I'll just go by hdbrole, and the role configuration file, as I've seen, that gets automatically created, although we don't need it. So let's try to give the role. There should be Don1, say, because there are two roles in it. So we say Don1, and create it. So, and in this Don1 role, we're going to actually, so let's go into the, so you see the role name in the editor mode has come, and you're going to give the schema privileges. So if you click schema privileges from here, or you can just simply copy it from the other project that I have. So serve the same purpose. So it will like, where is the project donor? So donor, inside the donor, we have got the role. Okay, so just check out the role. Role 2, in the editor mode. So we need to right click it and open with text editor mode. So you see, this is how it is created. So it's again, it has got the same name, role name, and schema privileges, and the other privileges that I have actually given. Um, so coming back to our project, it's here, and you see we have to go to schema privileges and under the role on 1. So if you click over here, you just need to give the privileges, not the grant options, but just privileges. And the privileges would be like, I want to have this insert and select, and you can go for as many things as you want. So data and update and whatnot. Whatever you want to do, you can select it from here. And then just by selecting these things, your job is done. So so if you cancel all of it, like, just leave it for a while so that I can show it to you. Go over here. So you see in the, as I was talking about in our project, I just made this artifact and this automatically got created. It's done 1. So if you want to delete it, so just press the delete button and then just delete it. Even if you don't have the thing, it works. It's actually create any problem. So we'll go back into your open with mode and go to text editor mode. And you see the role name Don1 schema privilege. So over here, we have got the editor mode. I just made these entries, and in the text editor mode, this is how in JSON format it has been shown. So, and the name of the role is Don1. We have to make another role over here, going to the view in the command palette and data create and create artifacts, I'm going to say. Then go to the in the role part, role, and then you've got the role over here. And this second role, we'll call that as Don2. So when you pull this Don2 and create it, so another folder under the SRC, inside the DB, get created, and it automatically opens up the editor mode where you can go and select the, this time the role name is Don2. You need to put the hash over here. So unedit it. So just go over there and edit it. That's, I suppose it's important for object privileges. This hash sign is given. So go to object privilege and init privileges with grant options. So let's go and check actually in the object privilege. That is our role 2 over here, open in the text editor mode. So you only have the, okay, you have the object privilege and thing with grant options. So in the object privileges, you have the name and table type and privileges and grant options. So what we're going to do over here is that back and in object type, you need just type table T and the help will come. Just put that help inside it, inside the This is what it is now. Object name. So if you press the first one, object name, so help you to get the object. Name of the object is the name of the table that is there in the HI container. So since we have found it, but we have not deployed it, so you cancel it for a while. And what we'll do first actually is like, let it be there, not a problem. And just kill all of it. Just close all of the tabs. Bringing a lot of problems. Now, we need to deploy this thing. So once you bind your container, you need to deploy it. So let's deploy it first. I hope these won't create deployment issues. There are more deployments, those are pending. So, okay, so that's created an issue because I would have done it before, and I had created the HDI container and deployed it since I have made this is looking for the schema and the name of the table. And do I get the name of the table inside it? There are so many errors over here. So this is the name of the container. That's very important. We're needing that's the name of the schema actually. But the name of the table, if you try to go into the HDI container, so the name of our table or the service. So let's do one thing. The second DB role, since it's unfinished, so we should delete it for a while. We did not do anything with it right now. This role configuration also, second one, not required. Now we have got only one that is non first role that gives you the schema privileges. And you see there is no hash to it because I told you the hash there should be the object privileges for that role name. And now if you try to deploy it, I think it would work. So we left it halfway through, which is why it was actually creating a problem. So see, and now okay, it's working now. You can go into our AGI contain and look for the name of the object. So you see there are you've got the acceptor HDI, donor one HDI. So we don't want these to be there. Our new one is donor project. So just delete it. So want things to be there. Given the instance for this one, take to the DBL. Let it be there for a while. And remove these two already created HDI containers. What we are concerned with are new HDI container with the tables in it. So you see, you open for the employee. This is the one that you actually want to see in our next project. So just open it, and you see this is the name with the name of the object with table name. This table is the object employee, and that's the namespace. Don't know hyphen. So staying is important. So and there's the schema name that we would be needing. So when we come back over here and try to make the same thing again, our second role, what we need to do is that go to our view and command palette, create a database artifact, Don2 fact name, that is Donor2, here the roles, hdbrole, specify the artifact name to Donor2. Or it should have been the role 1, role 2. That makes more sense rather. Okay, not a problem, but so when you go inside this Don2 hdbrole, as we saw it previously, you have got the roles and object privileges and schema privileges, political, analytic, system privilege. Okay, so I told you we need to actually make the role name as, by default, it takes the name of the file that you have created Don2. So the role name also becomes the same, but you need to add a hash over here to the role name. Okay, and since we want to provide object privileges to it, we'll do it. It's the place where facing a problem for the object name. No object found. There is no search button, which I think there should be, but then we need to actually add it manually. So object type is table. So go to table and privileges. Just leave it and go to like what grant privileges you want to give. That you can grant to other people. Select and insert. So these two grant permissions you're giving, and that's it. So let's go and check object name. How many writes? Yeah. Copy it and write it. Let's see. Don't employee. Try it over there. Okay. Okay, we have to do it again then. I think it's already taken the privilege ground option. So just go and check in the text editor mode. You see there is the object privilege name, but it should be inside the privilege section. So let's check object privileges ground option. So now projects option is missing. So back to the, why is it not showing anything? Probably applicable. Okay, we've got to put type over here. Table, type is table. And now you can have options like update, what more, select, and insert 3 of data there. So these brown options are there. I think it's done now. See, you have got the name of the object, that's this. table is type is table and privilege with that options. View as well, type could be table or view, and update, select and insert 3 roles and then assign. So if you now deploy it from here, it will work now. So let's deploy the project, or you could have deployed the project over here. Everything is completed and it has been synchronized, so no problem. Again, you see there's nothing inside it. It only talks about the role. So just put a delete button and say delete it, or you just want to keep it, you want to keep it. No problem. Okay, so our job is done for our donor project. So let's go back to the PPT and check. In the donor project, we have got the tables and HDB roles. And one more thing, let's build it and redeploy the whole thing. So we'll go to the terminal, press enter, just CDS build, so that the build we have the HDB roles. So the part of our artifacts, build artifacts, and now you can do a deployment over here. So a deployment of the complete thing will be done in a go. And since individually it all works, so I don't think it's going to create any problem. See, everything is working. It's fine. So the 2 roles that we have got is don1 and don2 hash roles. So in the grants, we have to, in the next project, make, go to the open folder and go to the acceptor project now. That's okay. Oh, could have done with the CDS run and check. So important thing for our database services also, you can see okay, we don't have any data also in the employee. So we can just manually put the data inside it. And then so that see our data. You need to just add it manually, or you can, there are various ways. So you've got an ID as 1, the name as my own name first. And the company is, let's say company ABC. And second is 2 and 8. Harold. And then ABC. Perhaps now. So 2 people have been entered inside the employee. We need to save it from here. And how do we know that our our roles are working? So you can go to your SQL, and if you, instead of this select top 1000, if you do select star, select star and press play, and if data is reflected over here, see the results, so it shows that our roles are working. And there's another mention of the role in the HANA database cockpit. So if you go to your SAP HANA Cloud, inside the cockpit, so over here inside the cockpit, if you try to see the roles that you have made right now, with the name Don and Don1 and Don2 hash. So you can find those things inside it, those roles that you have created. So Over here, you have got, let's select roles and search. What's the problem? Okay. Why is it not showing the roles? Find the right place. Cockpit, Cloud Central. You're in the cockpit. We are in the cockpit. So that whole management of those things normally should be there here. To running, active, full stack, and okay, we're going to leave it for a while, but it should generally show that that role configuration and roles and user management things. So enable SQL, search, alerts. Why it's not there? Okay, so leave it for a while and cancel it. Go back to our main project again, accept a project. So accept a project, you need to just go to the terminal, same stuff again, like CDS init. So once you do CDS init, you have the same DBSRV, empty folders inside it and a JSON. So we need to make a folder inside our DB. And at the same time, you can fix the dependencies. Fix it now or later, it doesn't matter. So I'll fix it now. And here I'm going to create a new file and call that as acceptor .cds file. Press enter. SRV. In the SRV, I'm going to make the same surface definition. So acceptor underscore SRV. .cds. Enter. Okay, so it's done now. Inside the DB, so here we need to have an entity space. Namespace would be our like accept CPT accept. So it's unique now. Nowhere in the project I've got acceptor, and it's accept or acceptance, whatever you want to do that. And now you need to add the entity in it, and the name of the entity would be accept ECCT accept EMP, since we want to have our EMP. So just a name I've given, you can give any name, but we want to have this EMP into our project. So we can have this accept EMP. And we need to use the same fields as it's there in our donor project. So it's like an internal table and kebab. It's kind of a same thing over here. Key ID, and then we have got a name, and name would be a string. Okay, it's not showing the help because there was missing. It's a string, and then we have got company, and it's also a string. Let's go into our database store and see fields are the same. ID, name, and ID, name, and once again, it's company. Okay, so and I've got to know that. So you see this accept employee entity is it's a different name. See, it's a different name. So I was talking about I want to use. I already have entity A1, A2. I want to, let's say, use the D1 entity into our acceptor project. So, so this is my D. Let's say this is my D1. So over here, the first entity that I've made is entity D1, but with a different name. Okay, it's got a different name. The same fields. Okay. Now we have got more entity in it. And this time the new entity would be sales order. Sales order entity or a key field. Key would be ID. Here. And then the sales order. And then integer. And that's absolutely um, that's okay. Now we have got this entity is equivalent to an entity that you already have like A1, and I want to use a D1, and the D1 entry has been made over here, the same column name, but then the name of the entity is something else. You see that? It's accept EMP. So we need to create a service definition for it as well. So using control space or what's accept, okay. Accept that. Giving some back. done it in a wrong way. Let's put that away. So like B and going to this RV folder and then do you accept DB. Okay, so that's okay now. And then we have got the entity projection, something like service first. Service, that would be my service. Entity projection would be my accept TMP. So accept it. Then accept dot accept TMP. And then we're going to save for this. Sales order. So it's sales order, accept sales order. So two definitions have been created now. And now we have got this. But we don't want this thing to come to our HDI container, but it should be shown as the endpoint when we do the CDS run. So for that, there is an annotation. Persistence. CDS persistence. So this is the annotation that is applied on this accept EMP. That's it. So we need to build our project now. In order to build the project, we need to go to the terminal and do a CDS add HANA. And you see, before building the project, the last one also, the donor one, we did CDS HANA after building the project. And we saw that the tables and our artifacts were not built. So before building the project, you need to do CDS add HANA. And once you do that, over here, you see in the DB folder, you only have one accepted.cds file in it. So the moment I press enter, what you see over here in the SRC folder also got created with the extension dot is the icon configuration. Now, if you do a CDS build now, so you see all your artifacts table that you have made is built now. It's ADB table. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is that, okay, so we need to create an API container first. And in order to do that, you need to add a CDS at MTA. And doing that, just click this one and go to the bind. Since we're already logged into Cloud Foundry, we are supposed to just simply bind it to the API container that we have created. Name acceptor project. So this thing is done now, or is in the process. So and then the env file will also get created in the DB. That will have the connection details of the HDI container. Now, once the binding is done, then we're going to add our HDI container from here. See database connection. You're going to add database connection. the AGI container that you want to use from the other project. So we have the other project is the donor project, and in the donor project, we have the table that's got the data. So first, you need to add the database connection. So for that, binding should be completed. And since it has been bound, and you need to the acceptor project service have bound. Go to the plus button over here. That brings you to the screen where you're supposed to add. So existing AGI container, if you click over here. So the first one is the existing AGI container. There's another one, create user provided service instance. So it's like the existing AGI container that you have to do. Donor project. So it automatically comes because we know that we already have this donor project into our HANA cloud, HANA database. So you just need to add it. After adding, you need to bind it as well. So sometimes they ask you to bind it, but there's acceptor project DB, there's acceptor cross container service is already bound, and you don't have to bind it, but sometimes it may ask you to bind it, so you need to bind with the exact container. So the container name is this one, donor project. So that's it. Now you're supposed to deploy it now. So we won't do the same mistakes again. Like the last time we made our new artifacts, but and we were like deploying it all in a go, and that created a problem. So a good idea risk with that. It's a problem. To redeploy the whole thing. See this person. Except EMP is not provided. Service sourcing chain. Any file. In the meanwhile, what we do is that just comment this piece, and so this piece over here. Okay. Now try to deploy the whole thing. You come back to that point again, but let's try deploy first. So everything is done. You could even copy the env variable to the root folder. So how do you do that? To change directory cddb. Clear. Go into the DB now. Use the command line interface and copy to default env. So when you do that, default env JSON file It's created, drag it to the root of the folder, put it. If you don't do that, when you do cds run, then you won't be seeing any data. So the root of the project doesn't know about the connection details that is made at the DB level. So, okay, so it's done now. We can just go into our container and see if another container has been created, and they're all working fine. You have this acceptor project, and this you have got tables, as you normally have tables in your project. That is accept sales order. And if you open the data, won't be having any data in your, because there's nothing such. In your synonyms, so here's the point. So in the synonyms, you need to actually have a synonym, an equivalent table that is there in your donor project. So for that, you need to do certain things that I was talking about. Let's go back over here to our PPT. So in the PPT, I said we have got the database artifacts with the name grants, synonyms, and some configuration. So grants and synonym configuration should be made in a separate folder, and we name the folder as CFG. Okay, so once again, do that. New folder, not new file. Should be new folder. Let's call it CFG. A file or folder series, please choose it. Happen. SRC, just delete it. Accidentally got created. So new folder, call that as CFG, enter. Now you're going to create the roles, grants. So go to the, so there are two grants in it. I'm saying this just for the one grant file. Go over there, same there. We don't need these files. Oh, we may need it at a later point of time. And we'll again build the project. So specify what the, okay, there was a problem. So let's stop for a while. I mean, just cancel it, and we go back to our acceptor.cds and just comment only this part. So this is a normal thing that we copy. I'm only going to comment this part. I'll be back in a moment. So over here, you see it. So we'll just leave this table over here and just comment this cds persistence.exist and try to rebuild the project, cds build, and redeploy the whole thing. So once we build it, we have this sales order and this one. Now, if you deploy it again, so in the Database Explorer, we'll get both your acceptor and donor project. To refresh it, inside you go to your acceptor project, and inside the tables, you see you've got the accept TNP and sales order. So, but if you open this accept ENP and open data, you won't see any data in it because there's no data, but we want data inside it, but that data will be seen in the synonyms. And when you do a CDS run, you can also see that endpoint with accept EMP and with data in it. So over here, we go to the DB and no, leave it. We just go to the view and command palette. We have to put grants in it, the database artifacts. So 3 things we have to make. Let's talking about. hdbgrants. So the name would be let's call it as grant, and just create it. Okay, I did a mistake. Instead of creating grant inside the CFG, I did it over here. So we need to just drag it to the CFG, move it. I hope it should not give us any problem. Object. So this is the JSON data that is there in it, that consists of schema privilege, schema roles, and object privileges, and what privileges have we got, and those things. Okay, so a pre-built thing that you already get, but if you don't want to use it, you're just going to press Control A and delete everything, and we're just going to copy our things from here, the grants that we have. So go to the DB inside the CFG and open that with a text editor mode and just copy the hdbgrants. Let me just copy it and paste it, then I'll talk about that thing. So here you see this donor HDI is the name of the HDI container. But our name of the container is not donor HDI, but it is, I think it is donor project. So we're just going to replace it with donor project. So in order to check it, if the names are correct or not, you can just come over here and minimize this part and see this is the name. You see donor project, and you see there's the same name over here, donor project, and there are 2 roles inside it. I'm going to say the object owner and the application user. So the object owner has been given the don2 hash role, and the application user has been given the don1 role. So different levels of restrictions are there with the 2 roles. So now just minimize this thing and come back to it. So now we can just deploy the app and see if everything is working fine or not. So if the deployment process goes well, that means there isn't any problem with our grant file. Okay, so this important part is this is an important part that you have to keep check on. Like all the things would be the same, like object owner. And in the object owner, you need to always assign the hash role, donor to hash role that you had given in the donor one when you actually made the two roles. So for the object owner, you had given the hash don to hash role. So over here, you need to keep check on that too. Otherwise, if you mismatch the two roles, putting don1 to the object owner, application user gets the don1, don2 hash rather. So it won't get deployed. So need to be particular about the role names assigned to different owners, like object owner and application user. Okay, now the next thing that we're going to do is that we're going to make the synonym configuration file. So go to database artifact and go to your project. So you see over here, the path is src. You need to change to CFG. So we want our configuration file to be put in the CFG. I suppose even if it is there in the SRC, it won't create any problem. But then there are certain files those have to be kept at the SRC level, and there are certain files those are supposed to be kept at the CFG level. So these are special artifacts like grants and those things and roles. So grants are like special kind of things. So we just need to give some granularity to it and kind of more granular code or projection that you have shown. And then you have got the SRC. In that SRC, you'd be creating the synonyms. The synonyms is part of the SRC. But synonym configuration file. So let's go to the synonym configuration file. SYN. Okay, it's here. Is DB synonym configuration. And then the name of the artifact would be the grant. Same name, not a problem. You can give it a different name. So it opens up in I mode, in the graphical editor mode, and you can just select the object name from here. Just go and type donor over here, DO. At least 2 letters are required. On top, you have got the target service container, and so many data source types have been mentioned over here. So we just leave it the way they are, although what we're interested in the table and synonyms. So since it has not created any problem, so I just left it the way it is. And the moment you check the table and finish it, it automatically creates the object name and schema name for you. So if you want to check how it looks like, so this is how it looks like. You've got a grant. Now, this grant has to be changed, this grant over here. And the name of, so you're granting this to this particular thing, except TMP. So it should be like except TMP. So, and all should be in the caps. If you want to check it, you can go to the Data Explorer table, and you see that this is the name actually that's there. So just open it and grab this part, except underscore except TMP, and copy it, and just come and paste it over here. Your ground, you need to paste it over here. And job is done now. So where is that thing? Except and try to deploy it. Let's see if everything is working fine. Is the object name donor company? Or what was that? The first one. It's the EMP rather than I go for donor company. What's the error that I show? It says the make has failed. So I'm going to use the EMP rather than company. Let's see. EMP. Okay. Let's go and you're going to have to change the schema name. The name of the schema. Control C. And put it over there. And go back to the Explorer. And accept. Control C. Put it back in. Oh. Wrong folder. Delete accept. Third folder, which should be in the donor one. So this is fine with top tables. The donor company or donor employee. We'll take employee. So it's data. Open it. Donor employee. C. Paste it. Schema. This. Control C. And paste it. Okay. Let's go to the acceptor one. Okay, we are accepting after the employee with ID, name, and company. By the whole. Okay, let's first make the synonym also for it. Go to view command palette to create the synonym and white synonym and go to the src, not in CFG. Should be made in the src. Inside this and hold that as accept. Just a name. Make it synonym. That's why you can simplicity accept synonym. Great. So if you go to the HDB synonym, open with text editor, so here we need to change it to this name. And yeah, same name, except the name of which one? I deployed now. Wait again. Okay, we need to do the persistence now. And do a CDS build, and then we'll come back to it. So those others, and come back to the sector CDS. And now we're gonna move this thing, and now we're gonna build the whole thing from here. Let's see what problems to face now. I think everything is done. There's no problems. So we'll go into our Data Explorer and check for the synonyms in our container, Scepter project. In the synonyms, if we get it, so the job is done. So if you get this thing over here, and if you open data, see after refreshing, you get the data inside our. So in our Scepter folder, you see Scepter project, you get the data and synonyms. And if you do a CDS run, go to the terminal and do a CDS run. And wait for a sec. So we can build the project as so with the Control C and clear. Now do CDS build. After doing CDS build, deploy the parts again. Deploy it. So everything is done now. So see, if you refresh and now do a CDS run, this time you'll get an endpoint with the EMP. You get a sales order security preview. So go back to the R tables and see. Okay, this thing is there, not a problem. Also got this thing. That means not a problem. So where is the problem then? Our synonym file, try to deploy it. with text editor and deploy it. Okay, it's done now. And then open with text editor over here. So donor employee. Deploy this one as well. So everything has been synchronized with database, so there isn't any problem as such. So press enter and do a CDS run. Control C, CDS run. Endpoint should be there, but I'm not getting the endpoint. I don't know what the problem is. Hmm. When trying to deploy it, the synonym file is showing this thing, except emp data. And the donor project also showing donor employee and data. Same thing. See, donor employee and accept. Data is come in the synonym. So where is the problem? CES persistent.exist, accepting empty, sales order. It should show it as an endpoint. And I don't think there is a problem yet. I'll stop the video and I'll look into the problem, get back to you later. Thanks for watching the video.